but it was not like I wasn't really working with all the creative people and the models that I wanted to work, because whenever they get good, they go out of San Diego. You can be amazing, but if no one knows about you, then you'll be amazing for yourself and your parents. I wanted to be somewhere where I felt small so that I had more room to grow.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of the KDigitals podcast, where we dive into artists, their origin, style, their art, and their process. Joining me today is Adrian the Photographer. How you doing today, man?
Hello, I'm good. Thanks for having me. We've been talking about this for so long, and we finally did it.
Yeah, and it's normal, right? I'm sure you've gone through it where it's just like there's somebody I want to schedule a shoot with someone that takes for some reason a month or two, just because schedules don't line up or something happens, and it's like, okay, let's juggle it until they all kind of fall into place.
Yeah, and I noticed you're very organized with your time. I wish I was like that, because I'm very on the go, not planned, just go with the flow. And if I plan something too much in advance, then sometimes plans collide and yeah. But yeah, I'm glad it finally worked out.
Yeah, man. So let's kick it off, Adrian. Usually when I kick off your podcast, I always ask artists to define themselves, right? Sometimes people are photographers on Instagram, but they do more than that, where I'm a photographer, but I also do video, but I also do paint. How do you define yourself as an artist?
I definitely have tried to get into video and stuff, and I mean I can do some video, and there's other stuff I can do, but definitely for high fashion photography is my thing, 100%. Even though I still do a lot of commercial photography because of bills.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
The thing is, I just love photography and all types of photography. High fashion is my favorite because it allows me to be more artistic and creative. But whenever I have a gig of any type of photography, I'll still take it, just because it's still photography and it's bringing me money, which will help me fund my photography, my high fashion dreams. So yeah, I mean, I do all types of photography, and I started doing more art direction too. I love being the one that creates a concept and puts it together, and then gather people to produce a photo shoot and direct everyone, so that we can have the same idea and make or just bring ideas to life. But yeah, that's my main thing, and I travel a lot. That's also a big thing. I travel a lot. I'm a traveler too.
Yeah. I'm actually curious about the art direction style. How did you? I think you shot at Hendo Studios. It looks like a painting. Your photos, right?
Yeah,
you have to swing.
That's what was in my mind.
How'd you do that?
Well, so this happened. It was funny. One day, Courtney told me, because I shoot in Hendo Studios all the time. So he told me, dude, I'm doing this YouTube channel, and I want to showcase photographers doing photo shoots behind the scenes and stuff. So just come any day you want, bring people, do something creative, just have fun. And I was like, okay. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was like, oh, you know what? David LaChapelle is one of my biggest inspirations. I'm gonna come and do something inspiring his work. And I didn't plan anything till the day before. I was like, well, so there was 2 photo shoots. This was the first one. And I called people, models, non-models, just people, creatives. And I put this together in less than 24 hours, and we did the photos of this guy that looks like Jesus. I called it In the Beginning because of many reasons. It's obviously the first verse of the Bible. It's the creation. This guy looks like Jesus. It's inspired and all that stuff. So, and it was the first time doing something like this, totally different style. So, just wanted to get creative. We did that. And then after some couple months, he's like, dude, we're lacking creativity in San Diego. We need you to come back and do some crazy stuff again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but this time I don't want to plan it in 24 hours. Even though the first time it was great, it worked out and we got some amazing photos. I was like, I want to do something crazy, like incredible. And I was inspired a lot in the Dior campaign. There was a Dior campaign where the photos looked like Baroque paintings or Renaissance. And I was like, I want to do that, but like with my own style, you know? So I put a mood board together, like pretty long mood board with and very specific with makeup, hair, lighting, styling, the models, like every single detail that you could think of, you know.
Mhm.
And I got together a lot of people because I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this collaboration, I'm gonna try to get people like the best people I can, and I trust my skills. I know that I'm gonna bring them a lot of value, even though this is gonna be a collaboration. No one's gonna be paid.
Mhm.
This is gonna be bring everyone value because these photos, I know for a fact that they're gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
So I got together, I think 18 or 19 people on set that I was
Mhm.
directing, and basically just worked with everyone to come up with this concept. And yeah, we did those photos. Like I had an idea of I kind of studied the art of Baroque, like how it what defined it and all that, the lighting and all that stuff. So I made sure to have that in mind when taking the photos. And yeah, and then I did those photos. Took me a while to edit them, but I
Mhm.
ended up with like 60 photos from that photo shoot, and it was amazing. Definitely one of my favorite photo shoots.
Yeah. Yeah, because when that comes up in my feed, I'm like, oh, damn! Like Courtney said, there, there's a lot of creatives in San Diego, but there's a little bit of a you could tell what the look of San Diego is, and then that
Yeah.
comes up, and like, okay, that's clearly different. Like
Yeah,
no one's
yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
So on that note, like so we talked about San Diego, right? And Courtney tried to come back. Since moving to LA, would you say there's a different, and if there is, how would you define it? Like a difference in style from LA photographers or LA scene versus the San Diego scene?
The thing is, yes, definitely. There's a big difference. Whenever someone becomes really good, they come to LA or New York.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about LA is like, or New York, it's like it's so competitive that you can just be like a creepy photographer having a nice camera and shooting models half naked, you know? Like you really need to have skill if you want to make it as a photographer. In
Yeah.
San Diego, yeah, there's definitely a lot of talent. Like in terms of models, photographers, stylists, like there's a lot of talent. But it's different because a lot of people just get around like taking photos that are not creative. They don't ever even try to implement new concepts or new ideas
Mm-hmm.
um or be creative, you know. They just wanna go take photos of booty and
Yeah.
that's not creative, you know. You can take a good photo of a girl, yeah, and it's gonna be a good photo with good lighting, but like is that gonna be your limit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see in San Diego a lot. In LA you definitely see that it's so competitive because there's so many artists and everything. And
Yeah.
if you really want to do photography, you can't just be doing that, you know. You gotta really be like, you gotta do something to stand out and to be different and to just really you know, create a style for yourself that people will appreciate, and just make your like give yourself a name as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's very different.
Mm-hmm. One yeah, no, I can see that, right? And I think that's why like you stand out so much. It's like it's good work, but it's also like creative work, right? A lot of people are good, but it's like, okay, just
Thanks.
add you to the list. So when you're editing then, right, and you're spending the time doing your stuff, even shooting, how do you know when a photo is good and like when you're done editing? Like, oh, this is it.
Sometimes it's so hard to be able to tell because after editing for so long, you know, you see a photo for hours
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, is this even good anymore? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. Well, you know what? Okay, I do know. It's a good photo when even after the like the time that I spent editing, I still see it and I'm like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, sometimes it's just like different. Like sometimes the lighting, the colors, the composition, like everything just looks very pretty every time you look at it, and it doesn't get old. Like my profile picture on Instagram, I have that picture. Look, I'll put it out right here. I have that picture in
Yeah,
my
man, that's cool.
screen. I, yeah, there you go. You can see
Yeah.
it better there. That photo. Um, that photo is my favorite photo I've ever taken.
Mm-hmm.
I have it on my wallpaper. I have it as a profile picture, and it still doesn't get old because I love the composition. I love the lines, the contrast, the lips, like everything just stands out perfect, and that's when I know it's a good photo.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, you show it to people and people are like, wow, that's a great photo. That
Mm-hmm.
also helps to tell if it's a good photo.
Mm-hmm. So you're taking that photo, and there's a lot of good photos you go on your feed, right? So how do you, with that being like the standard for a good photo for you, how do you push yourself to get even better photos?
It's hard. It's hard to like set the bar here and then like try to like push it higher and higher, because sometimes it's like I took everything out, like I did everything I could possibly do in this photo shoot, and like I gave my 100%. How am I gonna top that?
Yeah.
That's the hard part. And I think I've realized a good way to do that is just to start working with people that are more talented, more creative, more passionate, because then you stop like taking control of absolutely everything in the photograph or in the photo shoot,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start like giving other people their, like, I'm not gonna do styling. Even though I can do styling, I'm gonna focus 100% on photography, so
Mm.
that I can have someone do the styling, and I can still direct it, but I don't have to worry about like what's the model gonna wear, what, like, all these little details. Like I don't have to worry about all this stuff. Having a set designer, for example, has been like a great thing for me in some photo shoots, because then I can be like, I want this is my inspiration, do what you can about this, and I'll help you if you need something, because we're collaborating in this, but this is my idea. You're focusing on that. I'm focusing on this other stuff. So like I'll let you do your thing, and then I'll just guide you through the process to make sure that my ideas are being translated in your work as well. But I also like that you're giving it some of your essence. So I think outsourcing those other little things is great, because you can focus more on what you're doing, and people can specialize more in the parts that they're doing, and you know
Yeah.
um, I'm very picky with my work, like very, like I look at the details a lot whenever I'm editing photos and stuff. Like even if I try to edit something quick just because whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like I can't. I'm like, oh no, but this and this and this, and I just end up
Yeah.
spending a ton of time in the photos. Um, but but yeah, that's the same way as it is. Like whenever I'm directing someone in a photo shoot, I'll be like trying to just make everything work perfect, like guide them through the process of what I want them to do and all that.
Yeah, no, I get that. There's times where like I will spend like hours on a photo, I'll export it, space or open, and like I could have done the skin better. Redo
Yeah,
it, upload it. I'm going where I'm about to like literally I finished my caption on Instagram, like, oh shit. Gotta go back. Like there's that small thing and no one's gonna notice it, but I'll see it and then someone might notice it and then I'll get mad at myself. So let me go back for another hour. So I get it.
yeah.
So Adrian, I know we're nearing time. So I just want to ask one last question. Being someone that's done this for forever now, right? And it's been all over the world doing it and has worked with a lot of famous people. For someone, you generally ask like if someone getting started, right? What's the advice for them? But for you, how does someone go from being a San Diego photographer to a LA, New York photographer? How does that jump happen?
I mean, just taking the step, I felt too comfortable in San Diego. I got to a point where I was just getting really
Mm-hmm.
booked. Um, I had like one, two, three photo shoots back to back in one day, like in almost every day was like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting busy. Like I had a lot of work in San Diego, but it was not like I wasn't really working with all the creative people and the models that I wanted to work, because whenever they get good, they go out of San Diego, just like
Yeah.
I did. And I'm like, you know what? Like I'm in my comfort zone. Like I'm doing good. I don't like work is just coming to me, and people are paying me. Like I'm good, but I wanted to be in the next level. I wanted to be in a room where I was not the biggest photographer, or like, the like I wanted to be somewhere where I felt small so that I had more room to grow. So I decided to just take the step and like, come here and start working with all these people. And then I guess it like the transition happened like even before I moved out from San Diego. Just like going to events in LA, meeting people in LA, and then that led to going to New York Fashion Week, and that eventually led to Miami, and then just it becomes more international. So just networking is a big thing. It's a huge thing for me. I love meeting new people and connecting and partying together and like shooting and creating, because it's, I don't know, I just enjoy that whole process of networking. And that has been one of the biggest things in my career. Like it's been one of the things that has led to some of the biggest opportunities to network. You can be amazing, but if no one knows about you, then you'll be amazing for yourself and your parents. So yeah.
Cool. No, I appreciate the raw advice. It's true, man. Like I think if you want to get bigger, you have to get better. And that means kind of not checking your ego, but realizing, oh, there's a lot more that I don't know. Right. And that's going to take work. So no, I get it. Yeah. Cool, man. Adrian, I appreciate you joining me today, man. It's been a great interview. Where can people follow you and see your work at?
Adrian the Photographer on Instagram. And that's pretty much it. My website's linked there, but main thing is my Instagram.
For sure. Well, hey, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today on this interview. Go ahead and check Adrian's work out. He has some great work. I just quick plug. I really like your shot you did with Lauren Peck, the like yellow background.
Oh yeah,
with the X's. That's something that's just like, it's simple, but it's just like bold. But yeah. Check out Adrian's work, guys. All right, I'm gonna go and stop the recording. Let everyone go, and I will see you all later. Thanks, everyone.